All right, folks, get ready for a deep dive. Today we're all about ribs.
Oh, I'm ready to learn.
Let's do it. So you want to be a rib master. Let's get you prepped.
Sounds good.
This blog post is fascinating. It starts by breaking down the types of ribs.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
You got your baby back, your spare ribs, your St. Louis style ribs.
Uh-huh. And why does that matter?
Well, I was surprised too. But the type of rib actually makes a difference.
Oh.
It impacts the cooking time, and even how much meat you get.
Huh. I never thought about that.
For example, get this. You might need twice as many baby back ribs as St. Louis style ribs
Wow.
to feed the same number of people.
That's a big difference.
Right. That's a game changer when you're planning a party.
It makes sense, though, right? They come from different parts of the pig.
Exactly. Baby backs are leaner and cook faster from higher up.
And St. Louis style are meatier, need more time to cook.
See? You're already getting it. So yeah, step 1, got to choose the right rib.
Got it.
All right, step 2, ingredients.
Okay, shoot.
The blog keeps it nice and simple. Good quality pork ribs, of course.
Obvious.
A dry rub.
Classic.
And BBQ sauce.
Can't forget the sauce.
Now let's talk dry rub for a sec.
Let me listening.
The blog gives you a list of spices,
Uh-huh.
but they really stress that you should experiment, find what you like.
I like that.
Right, like maybe you like it spicy.
Add some cayenne.
Exactly. Or maybe, you want to get fancy.
Ooh. What do you have in mind?
You could swap out the cumin for coriander.
Oh, I haven't tried that.
Me either, but it sounds interesting, right?
I'm gonna have to experiment with that one.
All right, so we've got our ribs, our custom dry rub. Now we need tools.
Let's hear it.
Okay, you'll need a baking sheet, a rack, foil, the usual suspects.
Got it.
But here's the thing. The blog really stresses
What's that?
a meat thermometer.
Ah, good point.
A lot of people forget about that.
Yeah, but it's so important.
It is. It takes all the guesswork out.
Absolutely. Make sure those ribs are cooked to a safe temperature.
And it helps you get that perfect tenderness. No overcooking.
Perfectly cooked ribs every time.
All right, so on to prep work.
Here we go.
The blog talks about cleaning the ribs,
Yeah.
trimming the excess fat,
Makes sense.
and removing the membrane on the back.
Oh, hate that part.
Me too. Always a struggle.
Any tips?
They actually recommend using a paper towel to get a good grip.
Huh. Never thought of that.
Right, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm definitely going to go.
Good tip.
And another thing that caught my eye was they say to season the ribs and then let them chill in the fridge for a while before cooking.
Oh, really? How long?
Like 2 to 24 hours.
Wow, that's a while.
All about patience, my friend.
Patience for perfect ribs.
And it's not just for the flavor. The chilling actually helps tenderize the meat.
Interesting.
The salt in the rub breaks down the proteins,
Science.
So yeah, the longer you wait, the better.
Makes sense.
Oh, and speaking of flavor, we can't forget the marinade.
The marinade. Yeah.
The blog really highlights it as a way to boost the flavor, the tenderness.
What kind of marinade do they recommend?
They actually offer a few different options.
Cool.
They've got your classic BBQ sauce-based marinade,
Mm-hmm.
and they've got like an urban spice blend
Sounds tasty.
and a mustard-based one.
Ooh, mustard. That's interesting.
I know, right? I'm kind of intrigued by that one.
Me too.
But again, it takes time, like 2 to 24 hours,
Patience is key, I'm learning.
like prepping for a rib marathon.
Rib marathon. I like that.
But trust me, it's worth it.
I believe you.
All right, you ready to move on to the actual cooking?
Hit me with it.
I'm especially curious about this part.
What is it?
They're really big on the low and slow method.
Slow and slow. Okay.
They say 275 degrees Fahrenheit.
Interesting. Why that temp?
That's where the science comes in.
Okay, tell me more.
It's all about collagen.
Collagen.
It's a protein found in connective tissue.
I suppose.
And that's what can make meat tough,
Makes sense.
But cooking low and slow at that specific temp allows the collagen to break down gently.
So that's how you get those fall off the bone ribs.
Exactly. But now here's the thing.
What's that?
You might think, well, why not cook them hotter so they cook faster?
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
But here's the catch.
I'm listening.
High heat can actually make the meat contract
Oh, no.
and squeeze out the moisture.
So you end up with dry ribs.
Dry, chewy, not good.
Got it. Low and slow it is.
So patience is key. Don't crank up the oven no matter how tempting.
Resist the urge.
Resist the urge, exactly. Now, the blog gives some tips for getting that fall off the bone perfection.
Okay, like what?
But I was wondering if you had any extra tips.
I do actually. One of my favorites is the bend test.
The bend test.
Yeah, so when you think the ribs are almost done, you carefully lift them from the middle with tongs.
Okay.
And if they bend significantly, almost like they're gonna break, then you know they're ready.
The bend test. I love that.
It's a good indicator.
It's like a little rib ritual.
It is.
So let's talk about serving these masterpieces.
All right, what are we thinking?
Any side dish recommendations?
Well, the blog recommends the classics. Potato salad,
Classic.
coleslaw,
Love it.
cornbread,
Oh, yeah.
all the good stuff.
But they also have this quick homemade BBQ sauce recipe that I wanted to mention.
Ooh, tell me more about that.
We'll have to share that with the listeners.
Definitely.
And speaking of sharing, what about leftovers?
Ah, yes, the leftovers.
Any tips for storing and reheating?
Of course. The blog suggests storing them in an airtight container or wrapping them tightly in foil, both for the fridge and the freezer.
Good to know.
And for reheating, they say to use a low oven temp, again, to keep the meat from drying out.
So low and slow, even with leftovers?
Exactly. It's the key to rib success.
It really is. I'm amazed by how much info this travel blog packed into one post.
Me too. Who knew a travel blog would be our rib guru?
Right. You never know where you're going to find expert advice these
It's
days.
true, and that's what makes these deep dives so fun.
Absolutely. There's always something new to discover.
Speaking of discovering, there's one more thing from the blog that I wanted to touch on.
Okay, let's hear it.
Yeah, it's about that difference in meat yield between the rib types.
Oh, right.
Remember how we talked about maybe needing twice as many baby back ribs as St. Louis style ribs?
Yeah, to feed the same crowd.
It just highlights how much variety there is, even within ribs, you know?
It's like a whole hidden world of ribs. I had no idea.
It's not just flavor, it's like understanding each cut.
And how it affects the cooking.
Exactly.
So we've covered a lot. Rib types, low and slow cooking.
We've got the basics down.
Where do we go from here? What's the big takeaway for our listeners?
Well, this blog post, it's a great foundation for understanding oven-baked ribs,
Right.
but it is just a foundation.
Okay.
The magic happens when you start experimenting.
I like that.
You know, make the recipe your own.
So it's like the blog's our guide,
Yeah, like a roadmap.
but we get to choose our own destination.
Exactly. Your own flavor adventure.
Maybe try a different spice blend in the rub,
Oh, yeah.
or a smoky chipotle BBQ sauce.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Right.
Don't be afraid to get creative. Have fun with it.
I love that.
Who knows, maybe you'll discover a new technique, a flavor combination.
Your signature rib style.
Exactly.
So to our listeners, we say, embrace the world of ribs. Be adventurous.
Try new things.
And remember, the best ribs are the ones made with passion
Creativity.
and a whole lot of love.
Well said.
This has been eye-opening. A travel blog, our rib guide.
Who would have thought?
It shows you knowledge can be found anywhere.
That's the beauty of these deep dives.
You never know what you're going to find.
Speaking of finding things, before we wrap up, I want to share that BBQ sauce recipe from the blog.
Oh, yeah,
For
definitely.
that quick and easy one.
You ready to take notes?
I'm all ears.
Okay, so you'll need 1.5 cups of ketchup,
Okay,
1 cup of packed brown sugar,
got it.
1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar,
Yeah.
1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce,
Mm-hmm.
1 teaspoon of kosher salt,
Okay.
and 1/2 teaspoon each of garlic and onion powder.
Sounds good.
Just mix all that together in a saucepan over medium heat and simmer for about 10 minutes, stirring occasionally.
Easy peasy.
And you know the best part?
What's that?
You can totally adjust the ingredients to your taste.
Oh, of course.
A little more brown sugar for sweetness.
Makes sense.
A dash of hot sauce if you like it spicy.
I like where your head's at.
It's all about making it your own.
It is.
So, as we wrap up our rib adventure, what's the one piece of advice you'd leave our listeners with?
It really, yeah, it's all about finding what you like.
Exactly. Like smoky paprika.
Oh, yeah, good one.
A little bit of heat, a little bit of depth.
I'm all about that.
So many possibilities.
It's true. That's what makes this whole rib thing so fun.
It really is.
It's like we've learned the basics.
Yeah,
Now it's time to get creative.
it is.
Make it your own.
I love that. So as we finish up this deep dive, any final words of wisdom for our rib enthusiasts out there?
Well, I think the biggest thing is don't be afraid to,
Yep.
experiment.
I like it.
This blog post was great, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but it's just the beginning. The
Right.
real fun is when you take what you've learned and you just go for it.
Make those ribs your own.
Exactly.
Like, we've got all these tools now.
We do.
It's time to build something amazing.
It is.
So, to our listeners, go out there, experiment, have fun,
Don't be afraid to get messy.
and Most importantly,
Yeah.
share those delicious ribs with the people you love.
No, you're talking. All right, well, that brings our rib journey to an end. I don't know about you, but I am officially craving ribs.
Me too.
Yeah.
I hope our listeners are feeling inspired
Yeah, ready to fire up those ovens.
and create some rib magic of their own.
Until next time, happy cooking, everyone.
Happy cooking!